lot of SPACs going out. We obviously saw another, I guess Roblox was a direct listing. I'm just curious.
Only underpriced by 50%. It's the same problem as the IPO.
But basically what you're saying is Bill Gurley's on his headset walking around El Camino Real.
No, what I'm saying is
journalists.
What I'm saying is, irrespective of what the goals of the direct listing were, the result is the same as a traditional IPO.
There you go.
Can I give a shout out actually to a company that David Sachs?
Sure. Oh, Pipe?
Yes.
Congrats.
Which is an incredible company that basically like helps you capitalize your contracts with your customers. And it's this basically this incredible thing that I'm seeing. And there's a couple of others that do it as well. Clearbank is another one. But you can fund your company non-dilutively. And at some point, I think we should actually talk about the state of the union in venture. Maybe we can do that in a couple of next episodes. I have a lot of thoughts on where I think venture capital is going. And when I see things like Pipe, I'm just like completely so happy because I just think it's going to change the way in which venture investing is done.
It's a very brilliant idea. You can go to pipe.com/twist to get 12 months free. Pipe.com is a two-sided marketplace. If you have reoccurring SaaS revenue or any kind of reoccurring revenue, somebody did it with the Substack. So I think Pomp Liano, the guy who pumps Bitcoin, he has a newsletter that makes whatever, $250,000 a year. He sold for 95 cents on the dollar his forward-looking subscriptions for the year and bought Bitcoin with it when it was at 35. So he's like doubling down. But if you're a SaaS company, and we have many of them in our portfolios, you could take all of your monthly contracts, sell them on the marketplace to somebody else, not Pipe. Pipe doesn't buy it. It's some other financial person who says, I'll give you 94 cents on the dollar. I'll give you 92 cents on the dollar. I'll give you 85 cents on the dollar. And so if you have a $10 million book of business paying monthly, you can get that 10 million now and deploy it
Jason,
to acquire more customers.
I think this is a good maybe way to end. But I think let's agree that the next pod, let's start with the future of venture capital.
100%. I mean, it's changing dramatically.
And I think these non-dilutive ways of growing a company will completely impact pricing, pre-money, post-money, the amount of equity that employees can and should own in these businesses. What is the value of brands? Like, like people will know who David Sachs is and who Harry Hurst is. People necessarily don't even care anymore. Like, hey, if I'm calling from Sequoia, what does that mean anymore? They're going to say, who from Sequoia is calling? So these are all really interesting topics that I think are worth talking about.
Another path is just the public markets, right? I mean, public markets are becoming the new late stage private market. And it's really, both the SPAC and early stage IPO and direct listing models are changing dramatically. And it's and there's more speculative risk seeking in the public markets in a way that I don't think we've ever seen. And it's creating an opportunity for companies that are still, what in a traditional kind of sense might be called, early stage or still businesses with a lot of risk, being able to go public and kind of take their companies out and let the public markets wager on how well they're going to execute and how well they're going to be able to develop their product or their market. And by the way, it's something we've seen historically with biotech, where there's kind of very binary kind of bets that happen and binary outcomes because the markets are known and you don't need to kind of productize or build a business around it. But now we're actually taking both business risk, market risk, technology risk, product risk to the public market at all stages. And I think you're going to see these scenarios where people will build public portfolios, public company portfolios that will perform a lot like venture portfolios, right? You'll have one or two businesses that'll have a 10-bagger and a chunk that'll go to zero and a chunk that'll have some modest return on them. And it's going to be this tremendous learning experience because a lot of people will put all their money into one stock that they think has already been made. It's already a done thing.
It's Netflix.
Netflix. It's, their promise of the future is 100% certain. And the reality is their promise of the future is 5% certain. And so depending on the price you're entering and how many of these things you buy, you could build a portfolio that could have a good return. But it's going to be a lot of speculative betting and a lot of losses. And if you don't diversify, you're going to lose a lot of money. And, so the question is also how does it evolve regulatory wise?
Chamath, how are you communicating that to the market? Because you'll have some SPACs that go out. I would think Virgin Galactic is in that more like they're a deep tech researching phase, and then you have other ones that are already, churning the ringing the register, right? So how do you communicate that to retail investors or the audience, or that's up to them to do the research? How do you think about that?
I mean, there's
as well as the bad inventory that's getting added.
No, look, I do a tweet storm. I do a one-pager. I have a multi-hour detailed investor presentation that's taped. And then we have typically a 100 to 300 page S4. So you can ingress into finding out the true story of a business at whatever point you want. It really just does come down to doing your work. I mean, a lot of the folks on Twitter, when you see the market straight down and they complain, my reaction is stop crying and do your own work. And we have complete transparency in this process. So it is up to people to do their job. And the thing that I think is happening right now is people think that they don't have to do a job and that money is free. And it's not. It's hard to make it. It's hard to make good investments. It's hard to build a company. Everything is hard. Nothing is really easy. Because if it was easy, everybody would be doing it all the time. And so that's what I would love to leave people with. I really got to go, guys. I love you guys.
Love you.
Let's start with venture capital next week.
Yeah.
Love you, boys.
Right.
Free Davids. Love you. Love you, Davids.
Love
you, David.
Oh my God.
Okay. Love you guys.
Love you, J. Cal.
All right, love you. I love you, Chamath.
I love you
I
too,
do
J.
love you. I mean, we love each other and we can say it. And then the guys on this side,
love you.
They're working on it.
Bye, guys.
Look at Jake out dragging it out. Stop dragging everything out.
We're dragging it out because we love you, David. We'll see you all next time.